All right, guys. Coach John here with the pointer. Check this little guy out. All right, I'm going to use this to assist me in these breakdowns. It's going to be a quicker video today, so we're just looking at a match. This is an old match from Jordan Does Jiu-Jitsu. Just wanted to pick a random match, and I don't really watch too much of this stuff, but I wanted to start getting into it a little bit more. And this popped up. TriStar Gym had an in-house match with a BJJ submission only, no time limit rule set. And there's just really a lot of stuff going on in this match that you can create games from. So the point of this one is how I use footage to make games, or at least find games we already play within footage. So we're just gonna jump between maybe 3 different spots here. I'm not gonna show you the whole match, but a few different spots, and then we'll talk about the thing that won this match, the game that happened that won this match, and we'll get into that in just a moment. So this is a long match, and there's a lot of different, I'm just going to let it run. There's a lot of different things that are going on. A lot of states are changing in this match. You have different skill sets, different size, limb lengths, so when it comes to any kind of leg entanglements, that's going to play a role. So we just have them, jockeying for top position and trying to get torsos covered and advantages here. So you guys, we can break down actually what we just saw there. I find this game actually kind of good. Let's see if I can get it right on the money here. They get into this position actually 2 or 3 times in this match. This is a position you can play games from. You could task keep the hips covered for the top player and get your leg free. Cover chest to chest or get chest to back. Bottom player, get your back off the mat, or get behind your opponent, or get to close guard, or any other state where you're no longer here in this threatened kind of hips covered position. So how does this go? We'll just watch it really fast. Jordan is using what is called an over-under pass, but it's really covering the hips and being inside-outside, splitting your opponent's legs. So he's splitting the legs, right? The leg up here is separated from the leg down here. And now all Jordan's got to do is step his leg over to try to consolidate and then move up the body. So the hips really have a big focus here, but the upper body can work. That's the dilemma of a passer. You're usually dealing with upper body or lower body, and back and forth between the two you must modulate, because it's almost impossible to control hip line and shoulder line at the same time unless you're fully mounted where the hips are covered and the shoulders are covered, which we'll talk about a game that I see in here. This comes up next time. So as a passing game goes, you could just set them up right here, task both players with the task we talked about. So Jordan gets past the leg and he's trying to consolidate chest to chest now, but the game doesn't end until you're pinned for 3 seconds, and he's working right now to make Jordan a pushable surface. Okay, bottom player, make the top player a pushable surface and misdirect them by destabilization. Get your back off the mat. And I think that might be something that happens here. We push Jordan and we get our hips off the mat, get our back taken, and still working, get mounted. So multiple different games, but we're back at square one. You could actually find a bunch of different games in just one single interaction. That's the cool thing about the non-linearity of what we're doing. But as we see here, he did stave off this pass. He did not let it consolidate. He's really pushing hard to get this hip pushed back, get his legs back in play. He's trying to get his knee back in play. He's trying to get on his side, right, guys? He's not just laying there. I even have a game here, right? This actually might be a second game that we play. You guys, we played it this week. You're flat on your back. The guy has access to any kind of chest-to-chest pin. The game ends when you get on your side. You can task beyond that, but this is just the bare bones of it that you could start with, especially for kids. I really like this game for kids. This little thing's pretty cool. So you're on your back, flat shoulders, flat hips. It's really hard to be effective there, so we get on our side. So I task you with finding ways to get on your side. He pushes the hip here, gets on his side. Getting on his side exposed his back, but it got him from being pinned. And you guys will see that this is a non-deterministic. Just because his back is under threat does not mean that it's going to end the battle. It still continues to battle because the control is still being inhibited on the front of this torso. So he blocked the arm here. He didn't let a seatbelt come in. He didn't let his hip get covered here. The hip is not covered. So he's got uncovered hips. There is a connection around the leg here that's at least slowing him down from getting his hips away. But he's trying to get his shoulders away from Jordan and at least get to a guard scenario. And Jordan gets a nice look at that back. He does end up on bottom here. The guy throws his hips to the far side. There's still a baby hook and there's still back exposure, but I think we're going to get, Jordan uses it to pin the shoulders, which we play that game too. So get on someone's back, task them with pinning the shoulders, and the bottom player is tasked with facing their opponent, and the game resets. So I just took you through a lightning quick bunch of games from one lightning quick exchange. We can make stuff, guys, off of a lot of different things here. Now we're just in that end phase of that game where we're trying to get facing our opponent, and he's still pushing, still making a pushable. Look, the hands are actually not on him, but they end up finding their way in. He ends up in a half guard, and now we're on our side. So after all of that, we did get on our side, bottom player, and we did get to at least a usable guard, but don't get our back off the mat yet. So he's using this guard. It looks like, for me, like this is just I could see this, and it looks like he's either trying to get his bottom leg out to throw a triangle over, or he's going to sit up and try to guillotine him. And let's see what happens. He sat up and tried to guillotine him. So he got his back off the mat now, guys, and now it's a different state. He's starting to get more mobile. His hips actually came off the mat for a second, but Jordan stopped it. We get flattened out again. At least we're on our side, guys. He's not being ineffective and laying on his back. He's on his side, working hard to try to get some kind of angle, so get his limbs in the game. Now he's putting his feet on Jordan, and that actually makes a lot of space. So now we have a lot of space generated here. Jordan actually backed up for a second, which is not necessarily great for the top player because you want to use that fence to smash people into it. But listen, this is non-deterministic. Even if we're trying to make decisions, a lot of these things just happen as we react and perceive. So we have seated guard here. I'm going to just blast through. We do get into this half guard game quite a bit. Now this guy keeps getting his back off the mat, keeps working to get his back off the mat. Jordan's covering the hips here. Now he's just playing close guard game. Bottom player is always trying to get on a hip or an angle and not remain flat. Basically, there's games here too. You guys are in my class. We know we play them. I want to go to the finishing sequence though, because this is information rich. All these matches, you can get something out of every single match, guys. And I use this very old match from Jordan because it just popped up, and I wanted to challenge myself to just watch a match. Don't view it first. And then get to let's see what the finishing sequence is, guys, because this is sub only, so it must end down here somewhere. And I'm seeing, okay, so it's ending here. Let's go and watch a little bit here. So we have mount game, guys, with elbow separation already. Guys, so what we'll do is stay chest to chest, stay down and low, separate the opponent's elbows. So this elbow right here is close to his body, but this elbow is far from his body, right, guys? Jordan's got the arm going up high. Whether he knows this or not, I don't know what he knows, guys. I really can't assume that things that he knows. He just does it by whether it's just not something he's fully aware of or something he's fully aware of, I couldn't tell you. But bottom player does, I believe, have to rectify this elbow. Let's see if he does it. So that elbow is up there real high and things are starting to get ugly. The elbow got lower and lower, guys. See, the elbow is now not here. He used his, let's go back an inch. He's going to get his elbow low. It's still separated, guys, but he does get it low. He jumps at 1, 2, 3, gets it low, and now his elbows are low. They're at least closer to his body, and they're not as far elbow separated up, but you see a lot of the same things. Now this is probably going to lead to some kind of destabilization. Yeah, he got his palms, made Jordan a pushable surface, and pushed Jordan off while he escaped his legs out from between and gets on his side again, guys. Push him off, get on your side, and where do we go from here? We get top position. All right, and Jordan's getting tired. Let's see, he lays his head on the mat like he's going to go to sleep. He's actually kind of, you could see he's like really exhausted. This is a very long match here. We have like 15 minutes in. So we have a leg lock entry here, a little bit of a leg entanglement kind of battle. And this is a battle to wrap your legs around the other guy's thigh. He stands up, goes to pass the guard, get on top. And now we get, so Jordan said, you know what, I'm not going to let him pin me. I'm not going to let him, here, we'll just go back an inch. So Jordan's laying here, just recovering, stalling, buying time to just, like, these are strategies we could use in this rule set, guys. Nothing wrong with it. He's just regaining some energy here while this guy's moving on top and trying to get closer. Jordan's staying inside. He's keeping frames active. He's keeping hands active, misdirecting top player, but he does get dropped down on, but he has plenty of room here to hollow out and start getting up. So he starts to try to get up into turtle, and this is close now to the end, so I'm wondering, could you guys guess here how this is going to end just from here? Who's going to tap who out? Let's watch it. All right, so we have turtle. He's trying to get behind. Goes to get behind, and right away I can see a leg entanglement, guys. It looks like Jordan's leg wrapped around that far leg that we can't see. Let's see what we get. All right, so we have a leg entanglement happening from back control. You guys who have been in my class this week or have watched it, we did. I've been experimenting with this game that I used to do this live when I was rolling, or I do this live when I'm rolling, finding leg entanglements while the guy's on your back or while you're on the guy's back. So you can still do it if you're searching in that space. You can find that new behavior, and Jordan finds a leg entanglement from the back. This is exactly what happened, guys. He's got his back taken. The guy goes to go around, and you'll see this happen too. As he rolls through, he grabs the far leg because the leg must have been hanging out there between his legs. This could have been intentional. This could have been a trap that he was setting. I will never know. It could have been luck. It could have been just randomness. It could have been something that Jordan's done before, and now it's just showing up again. He is very tired, okay? So I could tell he was definitely a little bit done here. So look, we have a leg wrapped between our legs, guys. Now we're just trying to secure above and below the knee line. And what do we get? We get control above. See this knee line here? This knee's here, this knee's here. He's trying to interfere with his foot to free his foot. Jordan is attached to a lateral knee bar here. He's going to use his hips to press in, straighten this leg. And even though the toes aren't pointed that way, even though the toes are just kind of in this vertical neutral position, you can still get a lateral knee bar here. This is a version of what I'd say is some kind of crossed outside inside. You would say cross ashi or honey hole or something. Some version of that where now his hips are in braking position. So braking position is anytime our hips are facing the knee, right, guys? So if the hip is facing the knee, say this is my knee. If the hip is facing anywhere here on the knee, we can get that lateral force or that actual like bending backwards kind of force. So what do we get? We get Jordan even getting more on top of that knee for that lateral force, and we get a break into the floor here. So I don't know if he injured him, but it did look pretty bad there at the end. That end range looked pretty extended. And usually the floor could get in your way, guys. So we did get elevation though. As he elevated himself here, we did get room for that break to go into the mat. Jordan was also lifting the foot up, pushing his hips down into the knee. He has control above and below the knee. The leg is isolated, guys. So we isolated his leg from the other leg. And this is it. Right there, you get that finishing pressure. Jordan's just grabbing it any old way to keep it from rotating, to keep it close, to stay attached to it. Just like an armbar looks, guys. It looks just like an armbar, but on the leg. You're going to extend, pull that thing, and snap the knee. I think he was going to go for a rotational escape, but the friction and the way this extension's working, it already looks like it's bending backwards a little, guys, and it's pretty strong, that pressure here. Jordan also has some very nice hips. So he's a strong lad. He's built very tough. This is 7 years ago. If you guys watch his YouTube channel, he's probably one of the biggest YouTubers for jiu-jitsu, but that's Jordan right there. And good battle between Jordan and Donald. You guys really did put on a long show there, and that winning sequence, you can make a game off of this right here. And this is a new game I've been playing this week with my class. I've been saying, we've been doing it from instead of head-to-head like that, or instead of behind in referee's position, we've been doing it seated with arms attached. And then you could configure their legs any way you want, but like someone's sitting behind you, wrapped around you, you guys can make a game there and just task the guys with, here's what I was doing. Any kind of head and arm choke, right? So legs around the neck, arms around the neck. If you're wearing gis, you could also count like a gi choke as as a head and arm choke. Some of them are sort of head and arm chokes. You could also play with adding the task of get to a leg entanglement. Anywhere, you could just add that task anywhere, guys. Get to a leg entanglement. Make sure you properly define what a leg entanglement is. Usually when I'm talking to my class, I know the guys in the room now, so I know that they're going to be receptive of when I say, okay, we're going to start in this position. This game resets if you get to a leg entanglement. Or if you get to a leg entanglement, somebody has to flee, A or B, or both players have to tap each other out. This game doesn't end until somebody, if you do get into a leg entanglement, it starts a new game. You play there and tap each other out. You have to play around with it. And you guys can make so many permutations of that, but that is just the skeleton of it. And it could get really fun, guys, and it's actually pretty interesting. So you could make the game here, and I bet you anything somebody's going to find some way to get to a backside kind of 50-50 like this, which due to not knowing where it was going to go, he decided to backstep this way. It starts to lead to extension of this leg, isolation of this leg. Jordan gets his hips over that thing and down, and that's where we get that nice finish, guys. Just like an armbar, you know, same exact physics. You connect at the wrist, connect above the elbow, below the elbow to some fashion, and you start bending it backwards with force this way, that way, and we get the snap, the tap, the snap, or the nap. And that was a hard, fast tap, and he's holding his knee, so that might have injured him, guys. In class, we don't want to injure each other, but in a submission-only battle, you never really know. So this is at TriStar Gym, pretty notable gym. This is a 7-year-old video. You know, you guys can pick any old random thing, and that's what I've been challenging myself with. Just watch a random match, try to make a game from it. That's all for today. Peace.